What made you guys want to start?
She had the idea.
Ours?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just called Matt one day and I was like, so I want to write a book, but I'm not going to write a book. So we should do a podcast, because that's what you do. If you don't want to write a book, you do a podcast, because you just have so many things to say. And yeah, I just needed someone to talk to someone. Like, I don't know, just wanted to talk about all of the things that we go through coming out of business school and trying to start businesses. And Matt was down for everything.
Chemistry for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we work really well.
How did you two meet?
In business school at Humboldt State.
Yeah. Okay. It was one of those things where like we both had social media presence and we both were like kind of known in our own realms. And then the first time we met in person, I think, was Matt spoke at Startup Weekend.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you're killing it. And then just kind of stayed in touch.
Startup Weekend through HSU?
HSU, yeah.
Okay.
And she was a student and I had graduated a year before.
Yeah.
And then I was there like doing a speech, but I could tell that she was like going to be a great business
Serious about
owner.
it.
Yeah, I could just tell.
Yeah, no, I remember him saying that to me, and I was like, cool, someone sees it, we're good.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, she has it. And then but then like it was a year or two later that we started the podcast, right?
Yeah, we just kind of stayed friends and
So you guys
bugged
had
each
known
other
each
about
other for
stuff.
a while.
Yeah.
We have now, yeah.
A few years.
How many episodes do you guys have now?
66.
60, yeah, 66.
I just uploaded 66 today.
It's a crazy feeling, huh?
Oh, I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
Over 50. Feels so good.
Yeah, and we started it with Albie from Others Cooking, and then her business kind of took off and she needed to do that, and we just kept going and made it work.
Yeah, you guys were a trio for a while.
Yeah, because Albie's one of my best friends, so, and she was the same wavelength as us with business, so it just worked.
Yeah, it's cool that you guys are both business minded and going down that route, and then you can come together and kind of hold each other accountable. I like when you guys are talking about, we want to do this is our goal, this is what we're working on, let's recap.
Yeah. We need it.
Yeah,
well, that's
definitely.
kind of how it started. Is I would like FaceTime Matt about random stuff, or he would say like, I want to FaceTime with people weekly to like figure shit out, and then I was like, why don't we just do it?
Yeah,
yeah,
because some like business people that I listen to, they say like how they started is getting a group of people like-minded just to like talk and brainstorm. And so like I want to be around people that just want to talk business and brainstorm, because then that helps me and my brain like think quicker. So, and I know it helps out everybody in the room if they're like into that thing. So it was like perfect that someone else wants to talk business for an hour a week. What? Sick.
Great fit.
Yeah.
And holding each other accountable is so important, just to stick with your goals. I mean, how many people you set a plan, you don't tell anybody about it, and then when it falls apart, well, no skin off my back because nobody else knew but you. Whereas if you tell somebody and you guys kind of check each other and say, okay, what are we doing this week? What's next week's goal? What's the goal for 2024? What are we trying to do?
The accountability is real. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Having an accountability partner, which in the episodes, it's like, if you listen to all of them, you'll hear like some of them like will like be like, oh, try to do this, or like almost like give each other homework.
Yeah.
Like, oh, post a reel, or
I give Matt homework all the time.
You like do this to your website, or update this. I don't know. There's a lot of things that, all of it. We can't do everything. So there's always something that we all need to do. And sometimes like somebody else pushing you, like, hey, remember to like post a reel every few days about your business, or like post it. What was one thing we were like, oh, let's post a reel about our businesses. And then that was something that we kind of like all like went home and kind of made it like in our
did
own
it.
way.
Like we're like, do something to promote yourself with a reel, whatever that may be.
And then people could like read about our business.
It's just so time consuming. All of the social media, all of the branding that goes into the back
Once
end.
I can pay someone, I'm paying someone, because I don't want to do it. Even though I know what I'm doing, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I do so much of it. I can't wait. I'm gonna have a team, but I feel like I always want to like do it though.
It's hard because you have an idea of what you want it to look like, how you want it to play out, and then you kind of pass that off to somebody else, and maybe it doesn't turn out how you expected, and then you just do it yourself.
No,
anyways.
I've paid a lot of money for people to do my social media, and I don't know if I've posted anything anyone has ever made me, because it just wasn't up to par.
Yeah.
How do you guys do it for the podcast now? Are you guys just in-house clipping?
Yeah, I mean, for the reels, I just pull voice clips and then use CapCut and make a little thing, and we don't do any visuals, so it kind of makes it easier to do any editing to promote certain episodes. And then Matt has all of the pictures in his phone, so like I'll have to remind him sometimes to be like, hey, we released this episode, we have a picture with that person, we got to like line it up. But it kind of just works organically. Like our podcast page doesn't have a lot of followers or reach on its own, but both of our personal pages and business pages do, so we rely on that to just, the podcast Instagram is kind of like a placeholder for putting things places.
Yeah, it's hard when you don't have the visual element to post content from.
And then you're posting photos of like it's like an audio platform, but
well, it's cool that you guys take photos with your guests.
Clips of us, though.
That's a solid plus.
I'm glad we started doing that.
What?
Taking pictures with our guests.
Yeah, no, I like that part of it.
I used to just rip audiograms back when the video wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
And then it'd have like the little waveform moving.
Yeah.
And tried to post those, but it doesn't really.
It's time consuming, honestly.
It's time consuming, and it doesn't really grab attention.
Have you heard of Opus Clips?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Have you used that?
OpenAI?
Yeah. Have you used it?
I've tried it. I think I posted a couple clips from it. Yeah. But I always just revert back to doing it myself.
Right. Yeah. I mean, apparently you can like copy and paste your own YouTube video URL and be
you can just upload the straight
and be
MP4.
like, find me this, right? Oh, you can just
play
upload
with it.
Straight
yeah.
MP4. Okay. Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. I mean, it's pretty sweet right now, but give it a year.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the editor for
next
everyone.
year, man. I just use ChatGPT to make me a workout program. Like I've always paid people to do it. I'm like, let's see. It's amazing. I love it. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, true.
For free in 2 seconds.
And it was a decent workout program?
Yeah, I've been doing it. Like I've been doing it for 3 weeks.
That's sick.
I mean, it's heavy cardio, so it's like, run and do these like 4 exercises, but
it
still,
gives you a lot of
sense.
like suggestions and
yeah.
ChatGPT is great.
It's coming for everybody.
It's coming
every
for
aspect.
everybody.
I'm gonna be right there.
And
I'm gonna be right in the wave.
Not gonna fight it.
No,
let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing around with Midjourney a lot.
Fun.
And that is.
Oh my god.
That one gets me.
I don't know what that is.
Midjourney, it's an image creation.
Oh, the
you know
image
that picture
one?
I posted the other day of the cows in the flood and Bigfoot?
Yes.
Because of everything
you do
flooding.
Midjourney that?
No, someone did. Someone Midjourneyed it and I found it on Lost Coast
So it's AI visual. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So just weird, whatever things.
Yeah, they're good.
Which is great for us because it just makes your job easier. You don't have to focus. Once they get the editing down, especially for audio, it's a wrap. Because then anyone can record. It doesn't matter how bad it sounds. You can just put it out there and it's going to sound great.
Yeah.
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 Even in Instagram now, there's the AI stickers. Have you done that?
I haven't played around with that.
So if you go have you?
No.
Dude, I know. It's super new. So basically you go to like the plus and then stickers.
Oh,
and then you AI stickers and you click on that.
It's not that good because it's Instagram.
No, but you can type in it. You could be like cows in a pond in a barn land and it'll put up photos of whatever you tell it. And I was doing like happy orange on a summer day, and then I was like sad orange on a cloudy day, and then there's just like an orange with like smiley face. I don't know, it made exactly what I wanted. So
that's basically what Midjourney is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So now, so it's like you said, give it a year. I think like that type of thing is gonna be in all platforms. Some type of like, hey, create your own this right now,
and you're not even gonna have to leave the app.
Yeah.
You can stay right in Instagram and do it.
Instead of, you're not having to go to Canva and make something or pay somebody on Fiverr to make a logo to throw a watermark. You just be like, make me a little like Midjourney in-app watermark.
Have you guys used Fiverr at all?
Oh yeah. So many times. What?
I was like, it was one of those things that actually I was taught about in business school was like the concept of getting on Fiverr and utilizing your skills there. Or like when you need to hire people, but like, I haven't needed it. And
I was such a nerd.
It's another thing.
In college, after Nancy showed me that, I would like, for my final reports, I would pay somebody $5 to make me like a cover page on an essay that like didn't even need it. But I was like, I wasn't that good at like writing, so I like relied on like a presentation.
Right.
So I would always have like good stuff, like photos or graphs in the essays or whatever. So yeah, I would use Fiverr just for like imagery.
There's a ton of stuff on there.
Oh yeah, and it's like dollars too, because somebody around the world who's like, $5 goes a long way.
Yeah.
So
I had somebody design a logo for the podcast on Fiverr, and it was the last time that I used Fiverr. They made a graph of a girl sitting on a pink couch. She had blonde hair, riding a wave with a palm tree.
How much did you pay them?
I think I got ripped off. I think I paid. It was at least $100.
No,
I want to say it was probably like $175.
Now you can ask AI to do it, and they probably do
Midjourney,
way better.
Well, now
that's a better job.
Well, yeah,
Damn,
we didn't have that back then. I can't believe.
I want to redo our logo. I should look into using AI to do it.
Yeah, Midjourney. Wow, that's now we have that.
You'd probably get a great result from it. Better than Fiverr.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Unlimited revisions, not like 2 or whatever that they.
I think Midjourney you have to pay for now.
You do.
Okay.
Oh, we'll pay.
But it's only like $20. Midjourney's not bad.
Yeah, no. I call paying for that.
Matt will pay for all the conveniences, which is kind of nice.
I will definitely.
Well, if you don't pay for it, it takes your time.
Yeah,
that's always the trade-off. Mm-hmm. What do you want to invest your time in versus what do you want to invest money in?
I want all the convenience.
That is a big thing we've talked about is Matt's time. Matt doesn't have a lot of time.
I don't have a lot of time.
He will pay to have time.
Yeah.
Which is okay. It's just good. Like if you already know that about yourself, man, and you can do it, it's better in the long run, I guess.
Yeah. It's a leverage thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that just your business is so consuming? That's where the time is.
Yeah, and I have like multiple like businesses, I guess.
What do you do? I know about lawn care.
Yeah, I do lawn care, and then I teach at College of the Redwoods. And then I'm like really family oriented. My family's up here. I spend a lot of time with fam. So I feel like I have 3 different like.
And
what?
The things you previously have done. Most that you recently have done lots of other things as well in compilation with that.
Yeah, like Rotary, Rotaract.
And then the nonprofit
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran a nonprofit for 5 years.
What nonprofit?
It was called Inspire One.
What was it about?
We would recruit and bring people who wanted to travel overseas and like volunteer. So we brought them to like either Peru or Uganda and work with like these small grassroots organizations over there.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I started it because I traveled to Uganda and then I was like, I want to start a company. And I came back here, started a company, and then I started bringing people over there.
Was it similar to like Peace Corps work? You guys were volunteering over there?
Yeah, like the projects that we did were wherever the needs were at the time that we were there. So that could have been like building a fence or building gardens, and putting in like a water system.
What a great way to travel though.
Oh, it was so great because we got to travel, have fun, and then also like work during the day. So it was kind of like a volunteerism type of thing, volunteer and tour the country.
I feel like that's satisfying. That's like all encompassing, satisfying. Yeah.
Then you're not just going to another country and sitting on a beach. You kind of get to get your hands dirty and be involved.
Be a part of
Definitely.
Where you're going.
Yeah, but like even the locals were like, yo, go see my country. Like we got great like jungles and like lakes and rivers. And so we would go to the Nile River and
that's so cool.
Bungee jump and whitewater raft and all that fun stuff.
Is the nonprofit still up and running?
No. Once the pandemic happened, kind of like shut down. Because
how many businesses got wiped out because of COVID?
A lot, most.
A lot, but how many started because of COVID?
I wouldn't be doing this podcast if not for COVID.
I wouldn't have Hounds of Humboldt if it wasn't for COVID. So
yeah, I think it ended a lot of businesses that like were going downhill or like businesses were not like able to like innovate and like be different.
Just staying afloat, which in the name of small businesses, a lot of them you're just getting by.
Yeah.
And then to have something catastrophic happen like that, and it's just tips you over the edge.
Yeah, it was sad.
I'm starting to recognize more and more how many people were also able to like pivot or like they closed their business and like bought or restarted another one, so they didn't end up entirely just like out of luck. Like there are a lot of business owners that were like, oh yeah, well then I started this. And you're like, cool, you figured it out. You figured out how to get through like everyone else did for the most part. So yeah, it was really interesting. Things that we'll never see again though, just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's the name of business. You got to leverage. If you hit a brick wall, you have to pivot. Otherwise, you're going to be Blockbuster and it doesn't end well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's still one Blockbuster left.
I think it's in Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
The first one.
The first and last.
Talk about a dinosaur.
Oh.
I know. Now they're like renting it out. You can like rent it out. And
for parties.
For parties. You have a birthday. And like
I would have a Blockbuster party.
You can go down the aisle and pick out any movie you want.
Do they still rent out movies there?
Yeah. Well, no.
It's just a location.
Actually, I don't know.
It's a nostalgia location. So you can go and like be there.
But you have to rent something. They should put up just a couple DVDs.
A nostalgia location? Is that what it's called?
You ever been to Legoland?
Museum.
Nostalgia location.
No, I haven't been to Legoland.
Yeah.
Do you guys think about that a lot with the pivot towards, I mean, both of you guys are very into social media. Mm-hmm. Do you think about that with longevity? Is that's kind of a safeguard, building up almost a social persona?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Both of us are so heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both know that.
My business could be doing absolutely nothing like it is right now, and people still tag me and stuff and send me stuff and know I exist and ask me and say, "Oh, I know who you are," and I'm not even doing anything. Like it's okay, it works. It's a safeguard for sure.
It is. I look at it as it's almost like building like credit, like currency. Mm-hmm. Like every time I post, I'm like putting money into like a savings account. Like somebody in the world is gonna see something that I like post, say, create, show my face, and that over like a long period of time, no matter what I do, like I just know the value of that.
Well, you've got a pretty big YouTube page, right? You've been doing YouTube
I got a
for
couple
while?
thousand followers, subscribers. Yeah. So, and I like go during the pandemic, I was like, I'm going to go super hard on videos. And so I just like was making 3 YouTube shorts a day for the span of 6 months. I didn't miss a day. And then that's when I hit 1,000 subs. And so they were like videos that I wasn't like talking in necessarily. It was me playing basketball, me cooking, me like doing random things. It was kind of just me like playing with the algorithm, like seeing what worked and what didn't work.
Lifestyle stuff.
Yeah, just really lifestyle stuff. Nothing like too niche.
Cooking eggs terribly.
Really, yeah,
that was a big thing he did.
Purposefully cooking eggs bad.
That's like Justin's, what was it? The best breakfast
burrito.
Yeah, the hunt that he was on.
Oh, well, that was actually quality content. I was not posting quality.
Quality. I wish he would still do it.
Yeah.
Has he stopped doing that?
Yeah, just for now.
Yeah. 29 though. We got 29 reviews out of him.
There's got to be a point where you run out of places to try. Humble's not that big.
He had over 50 on the list. I think he's told me once. That's kind of a lot.
You could send him in requests.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's what, I mean, social media for me is, I feel like a dinosaur with that. I would not be on social media if not for doing this. It's almost a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Oh, it is a requirement.
And that's what's really cool about Hounds of Humboldt is that you don't even have a physical location yet, but you've built up this brand and this awareness around what you're trying to build.
It's actually really remarkable that it is so heavily seen. Where was I at the other day where I was like petting a dog and be like, "Oh, you like dogs?" I was like, "Yeah, I have a dog business." They're like, "What is it?" I was like, "Hounds of Humboldt." They're like, "Oh, I know who you are." I was like,
yes.
Or like, people will be like, "Oh, I see your stickers." And I'm like, "Cool." Like this means that like when I start it, it'll immediately have loyalty. Or if someone tries to steal my idea, everyone's gonna know who started it first. So, but yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for my personal Instagram being so just authentic and whatever it is, my business Instagram wouldn't be what it is either. So yeah, that's a big thing, is the authenticity of just being who you are on social media all the time.
That's a hard thing for people to find sometimes.
Yeah.
Is your voice almost in that atmosphere.
I think we go through learning phases with that the same way we go through like our communication styles with other people and just like how we communicate with people at work. Like social media, I've gone through so many phases of who I am on there and what I want to promote and how I want to act. And then you find your niche of who you are to the rest of the world. So yeah.
Did you guys kind of plan that out for what you wanted from the podcast? Was what you were going to present to the public in a way? Or has that just been organic?
It's been pretty organic.
Sometimes we literally have no idea what we're doing. So.
Yeah, no, we're like
me 99% of the time.
We're both like in the same car and like we have the same like I think overall vision, but like sometimes we're definitely like, just figuring it out in the moment, like super in the moment in the week. Like who's our guest next week? I don't know. Let's hit some people up and like just really just like, doing the best we can with like the little time that we can spend each week on the podcast, having like full-time jobs and like, we're both like really into the gym and into self-care. So
yeah,
I mean, we give attention to the podcast, but it's only, so many hours a week. So, but I think we've had like, I don't know, over like almost 30 guests or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like also almost half
crazy when you think about it, huh?
Have guests. Yeah. It's
how many connections we've made and friends we've made or things we've just learned about people we've known forever that we're like, oh, wait, okay, cool. Like it's awesome. Yeah.
A lot comes out when you sit somebody down in front of a microphone. It's almost like a filter comes off.
It's surprisingly a lot does come out. I think some people think that they're not going to know what to talk about, or they're not good at talking about themselves. Like when we had my mom on, she's like, I'm not good at talking about myself. I'm like, actually, fun fact, you're really good at that. You might think you're not. If people just, people want to tell stories.
Yeah, they do. People want a story to tell. And like once the headphones get on, I don't know, something about the headphones really do it for me. Oh, you love
I used
the
to
headphones.
hate
now,
them.
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Hearing your voice?
Yeah. I used to hate having them on, but now it's good.
It puts you in a
makes
different
sense.
zone.
It locks you in.
Yeah.
If you don't have the headphones, you kind of drift a little more.
And I already drift so much anyways, I need the headphones. Yeah.
I love the headphones so much.
It's definitely a different experience. I've had a lot of guests where they come on and maybe 20 minutes in, they're like, I can't do the headphones anymore. I can't hear my voice. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, if you've never done it and it's your first time and you're listening to yourself,
Yeah.
that kind of sucks.
You're distracting yourself
It's
from
an adjustment.
having the conversation for sure.
Yeah, I mean, then they just take it off and
then you keep going. Yeah. I like the headphones. The headphones are a big plus for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where you just have to keep going. I think then that applies to everything. You just you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have the answers. You're just
consistency.
Consistency.
Yeah. Consistency is like the key to everything. Like your self-care and your job and your relationships, like being consistent with your own expectations and then like your communication of expectations and what you're doing. Just, we'll skip weeks sometimes if it's like a holiday we're wiped, but we want to be consistent. We don't even know when we're going to end. One day we'll end. Who knows? Could be next year. It could be 5 years, and it'll probably be random. We'll probably be like, oh yeah, I don't want to
end.
Yeah, but also like I don't want to end. It's just so consistent now. It's ingrained into our routine. And it's also kind of the only time we get to hang out is when we podcast. Like we'll spend a little bit of time before, like goofing off, and then he does his other podcast right after ours. And so then it's just like a bunch of people in the room, podcast vibes, all of our friends, and then like I won't see Matt for a whole other week unless I see him at a work event or something. But it's also our friend time.
Mm-hmm. True.
So.
And that's got to keep it fresh in a way too, so you guys don't get burnt out and you're sitting there like, okay, what are we going to talk about? Because we've been talking nonstop.
Yeah, no, we haven't had much of that burnout feeling.
That was a kind of a thing when we had Albie on, because me and her were best friends, so we would see each other all the time or like talk all the time. And then I'd see her at the podcast, and I'm like, okay, I know everything. I already know what happened your whole week.
Oh,
you know. And so like she has to tell Matt, and then I would be, interjecting because I already know the story. So that was a little different. But me and Matt, we don't have time to talk throughout the week.
No, we catch up. Yeah.
So we catch up and let the world know what we've been doing and the decisions we've made and make sure we did our homework.
Well, and you guys are kind of archiving your progress along this journey, which is really cool.
Big time.
You guys, most
like
people, they start and you don't see that start. You just see the end product when they're, rich and famous and have this business line.
I feel like you've done the same too. Is like if you go back and like listen to and watch some of your old episodes, it's probably like you've come so far. And like I don't even want to know what the first episode sounds like.
I don't know. Not good. I can tell you that.
We had one Yeti mic in Matt's living room, and it was 3 of us, just like
huddled around the mic.
And it was we were doing an hour. Like we've always done like basically an hour, and it was fun though because we even when we started the first, because we're in a studio now. But even the first episode we did inside a legit recording studio, we didn't have podcast mics. Like there was a recording mic. We had the Yeti in a studio, and I was like, this is so whack. Thankfully Matt's been about it. Matt's knew what equipment to get and all of the things.
Well, I just listened to our producer, Eli. He's
who knows
audio. Yeah. And he's been I'm like, what do we need, bro? And he'll just be like, you need this. And I've been just getting all the stuff we need, basically.
And it works.
Yeah. SM7Bs. We started on the Zoom P4 and then P8. Now we're
just keep going.
Yeah.
Incremental progress.
Yeah. And I think we're good for now. I think our sound is solid. And I think it's like,
And we got 4 nice mics.
I feel like the mics are the biggest thing. Once you get a decent mic, there's not another level for audio.
Mm-hmm. Because even if there's background noise, like if the mic's good and you're speaking into the mic properly, it's so minimal, or it can be edited out or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure that Yeti picked up quite a bit.
Yeah, especially because where Matt lived.
Live above a convenience,
like,
or live above a
I gotta go close
store.
the window.
Yeah, so it was like forklifts and cars and trucks parking and beep.
There's definitely were car alarms in some of those first recordings. Yeah.
Well, and what's cool about you two is that you guys can talk to each other. So it's not like you're relying on a guest to show up, or you have to have a guest, because you guys can get together and do it.
Yeah. And then also like having Eli there, like if it's just us two, like he'll be more engaged in the conversation and like feel free to talk, and it just ends up being, and like that's what I really wanted in the beginning, was like friends talking about business and telling people about business and learning together, and makes it easy. I mean, the last one we did, just the two of us, was New Year's Day, and like we were both wiped, and I was like, people are gonna. I mean, like 20 people listened, but we were exhausted, and we still figured out. We talked about whatever we talked about, and we just hung out.
And we did Christmas Day.
That's the one you did with your mom, right?
Yeah, on Christmas, and then we did New Year's Day. Like we, like really
hitting the grind.
We even go hard on the days. Like when we take
Today
a day off.
Also a day off, technically for me.
So.
So.
Oh yeah.
Still working, still doing a podcast.
Yeah, because part of the
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the whole plan, whatever the plan might be. Yeah,
it's all part of the fun. It's just the ride.
Yeah, I went live for a year and a half every Tuesday with one of my friends.
Oh
so
yeah.
It was called what was it called? Top of the Morning Tuesday. And so we didn't miss a Tuesday for like a year and 6 months. We were so proud of ourselves.
That's a hard schedule to keep.
Oh,
even though it's once
that
a
was
week,
during the
it's still
pandemic, so we were all in our house, and it just was like, it was just like much easier than doing that now, like not skipping a Tuesday now. And like the fact that I posted 3 shorts a day, every day for 6 months, that was like during the pandemic. Like that was like a really different time, and that was when
you had the capacity to do that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just in your house, so much time. So
yeah, because 3 shorts, I'm thinking about that now. I try to do a post a day, and even that just falls off a cliff sometimes. You're like, I can't.
So
I got it down to I could post a short in under 3 minutes. So basically, it was 180 seconds. I could post a 15-second short with like text with hashtags, and so basically it was 9 minutes, and I could post my 3.
You had it down to a science.
Yeah, so I'd film throughout the day, and then at night I would edit 3 different ones. And so I knew the angles I needed to film during the day to get what I wanted at night. So that's like just the rhythm I just kept doing.
See, that's a challenge when you do a podcast, because you don't know what's going to be said. I mean, you guys go in dry, right? You're not scripting out it.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
So you might get a podcast where you could clip a ton, or you might get a podcast where we're not clipping anything from this.
No,
and like we don't edit our podcasts at all, so like whatever comes out of our mouths is that's what it is, and it will get uploaded. And if it's terrible, it's never terrible. But if it's not clippable, whatever. But yeah, we've had people ask like, oh, like what do you want from me? Like what are you gonna have like topics? Like my mom was so like, I don't know what to talk about. I'm like, just sit down. Just sit down and talk to me. Like we're having conversation. And like we just got someone for next Monday, and she asked like, are there gonna be topics? Should I have a bio? And I was like, nah. Like we'll figure like we'll do it all, figure it all out at the end, but like
just show up.
I think it's better that way.
Which is what I loved about how you just started talking, and this is now the podcast, because we do our intro, but sometimes like I've literally stopped us from having conversations before we start recording. So I'm like, whoa, we're getting into stuff right here that I want to like have recorded, and like this is so that immediate authenticity of just dialogue.
Well, you guys are brave. You read the intro every time. That's your thing?
Dude, yeah, I'm so nervous every time.
Yeah.
I'll never do it.
That's tough.
I mess up, like, and I'm like, my heart rate like literally races before.
That's also
and that's why when I like stall and I go like this, and Glo's always like,
don't use my full name. Don't use my full name.
Don't get me started. Okay, he's been doing really good lately.
Yeah, I've been trying hard.
Yeah, the intro is really good. I think it might be time to do a pre-recorded intro.
I think we are time, yeah.
Like, because we figured out the flow of it.
Once we could just take the best one and give it to Eli, or he could just put that. But yeah, I think we're there too. But yeah, so authenticity has kind of always been our thing, and so that kind of plays into that. But I think we're almost time to graduate to a pre-recorded.
Well, you're braver than I am, because I used to just record my intro back when I did them at the end after the guests left.
That's what I used to do at first too.
Yeah, and just go through 10, 15
because you know what you talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You could be like, we talked about this and this and this, because you already know.
Yeah, reading them live with them in there would be a little intimidating. Like, okay, I don't want to mess this up.
Yeah.
He always, if he does, it's perfectly messed up. Listen, there's some really good,
See how nice she is?
entertaining mess ups. Where I'm like, that was weird. Don't start over. We're keeping it. It was great.
Well, that adds to the authenticity.
Yeah.
You guys just hit the ground running.
You can just accept that.
Yeah. No, humility is part of my system. I feel like I try to harness that.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what that was. I remember this one dude in Rotary. I was like 23 at the time, and it was this big event. It's a leadership conference, and he pulled me aside and he's like, dude, do you know what humility is? And I was like, no. He's like, you have it. And I was like, okay.
That's good.
Sick. And he's just like, I have a master's in human behavior. And I just want to tell you that he gave me this pep talk. He's like, just keep doing what you're doing. You have humility. And I was like, what, humility? That's such a weird word. For some reason, I just didn't know what it was at the time. But I feel I try to harness, remember that conversation. I'm like, oh yes, I do have this thing. So authenticity and messing up in front of people, I'm just like, man, that's chill.
I have to practice humility a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Which is why I will not be doing the intro ever. Because I want it to be perfect, and it's not going to be.
No, I know. It's hard not to want to be perfect.
Humility is a really good thing as a business owner, though,
it's a requirement almost.
Yeah. People, yeah.
Yeah, because stuff hurts. We get told we suck, or for me, people will DM me all the time and be like, oh, you misspelled that word, or you didn't always misspell stuff in post. And that used to get to me years ago, but no, I'm like, no, it's all chill now.
But also, I think I'm trying to think if this is the right way to say it, but humility is the enemy of the ego, you know? If your ego's too big, you need to work on having humility and not always allowing your ego to take over. And there's some business owners where it's they're not going to admit they were wrong. They're not going to take critique. They're not going to take feedback, and they're not going to accept letting go and having humility around their baby, which I get, but yeah.
They'll actually be some people will actually be upset with feedback.
Yeah.
Rather than some people would be upset with even just people trying to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's anti-humility. That's opposite end.
Which is a terrible thing to implement if you want to improve.
Yeah.
Build your business more and build a community around yourself. Mm-hmm. That's not the way to go about it.
It takes being self-aware. I mean, I definitely, I have to practice it. There are people who will be like, oh, why don't you do this for Ensemble? And I'm like, no. Don't tell me what you think I should do. But then I'm like, okay, let's just rewind. Let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I should listen to all of the things, all of the critiques, all the feedback, all of whatever, and not shut my brain down.
I got a lot of practice with that when I was doing the Inspire One thing, because a lot of people would ask me oh, why are you doing stuff in Africa? Why aren't you doing stuff here? We have homeless people here. We have people that need help in our county. I got so much criticism over the span of 5 years. And so I just got so practiced of how to be approached with something that's my passion, my baby, and people are critiquing and being why are you doing that? And so I think I built a lot of thick skin for that.
You have
during that. Yeah, for sure.
And it's crazy because everyone will always have an opinion on how you're supposed to do the thing that you're doing. Even if they don't have any experience in the field, any idea what's going on behind the scenes. I'm sure you guys get that with the podcast. Oh, you should do it this way. You should start doing that.
I think it's the one thing no one tells us anything about is the podcast, except for my mother. She's always right.
It would take a fan to do that. I mean, we're not getting stopped by and getting fans.
You're not getting bum rushed on the streets yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Actually, I did have someone stop me in Murphy's the other day.
Someone did. Okay, Wildberries won.
So go team.
Murphy's? Dude, Wildberries, let's go. Grocery stores.
Grocery stores. But yeah, it's really not really.
I would take feedback, but no.
We would take feedback. I kind of would love it.
We kind of ask for it in the episodes, DM us what guests should we have, or
how are we doing?
What should we talk about? What's our topics?
Yeah, It's really the only person who's ever said things is my mom, and we have taken her advice. We changed the intro, or I adjusted how I interrupt Matt, and we've adjusted other things because my mom listens to every single one, knowing both of us, who we are as people, not just as a listener. But I wish people would we've always talked about doing a call-in style thing, which we'd have to super promote, and make it a time and promote this between this hour and this hour, call this number, and we could hook it up.
What if we give gift cards if they call?
You have to give a sponsor first. But I feel like call-in episode would be a really interesting way to like get different engagement.
I want that so bad. I want people to be like, no, me, call in. You know, when I was like 12, I remember calling in 707-443-9696. Are you from here?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
You know what that is?
I don't.
Okay, that was, you could call Power 96.3.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was the number.
Pete Meyer. Yeah, that was the number you could call. And it would be like, he'd be like, okay, this is the question of the day. And if you call in, then you get free like tickets to some show, or you get like $10 off at, you know, some restaurant or something. Or he'd play 10 seconds of a song and be like, if you know the song, call in. And I remember calling in and being like, is it this? Is it this? So yeah, I just want people to call in.
Matt has a nostalgia around call-ins. Okay, I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a great way to interact with your audience. Have them be a part of the show.
Yeah, and some of my favorite podcasts are things where people like come on and talk or like call in. Like Theo Von's this past weekend. Yeah, people leave voicemails. That just kills me, dude. I think it's great.
Well, and Theo's great at off the cuff stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like what I wish my brain worked that way. I don't know where it all comes from, but it's. He has like 3 brains and they're all different people or something.
He's on another level.
But yeah, I think we could just implementing something that, I don't know, makes it a little different, like call-ins or voicemails or.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I've wanted to do like maybe a Friday night live stream and then have people submit videos and you would go through the videos of them talking about stuff or asking questions.
Yeah.
Trying to get advice. And
that's sick.
That's
another way to kind of implement that.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about doing a live pod.
I want to go live.
Which, it'll happen.
We should go live sometime.
I know.
We haven't talked about that.
We have talked about it. We've talked about doing one at school. We've talked about doing one out at an event. Takes some coordination.
It does, yeah. We might have to have a business meeting soon.
Another plan forming.
Yeah.
I used to do these live for a long time.
Really?
It's a great way to build more people because people will just check it out to see, oh, this person's live.
YouTube live or Insta live?
I did YouTube and Facebook.
And then you could still save the audio and visual and then upload it as a final.
Yeah, and kind of clean up the audio a little bit and switch the cameras and stuff.
Sick.
Yeah, I think the one issue now is the camera SDs lasting long, right?
The what?
Camera memory.
Size?
The memory card? I don't know.
Yeah, I think those don't last that long.
Are you talking about the video?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to get a big SD card.
Well, like they shut off at just 36 minutes, so we have to like restart them.
Oh, you have one of those cameras?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have one of your.
No, trust me. I used a GoPro for a long time and ran into a number of different problems. The camera would just shut off because it overheat. So then the back end of the video would just be a still image of us sitting there.
Yeah.
But the 36-minute, I think that certain cameras have
certain
that.
cameras just do it. And like people say, it's like no way to avoid it. So
you have to look at a certain type of camera. There's like photography cameras that just are made for shooting stills and then can do video. And then there's ones that can shoot long form.
Yeah, I think.
But even with long form, I have 256 gigabyte memory cards, I think, in these. And that only gives you 5 hours. Which is safe.
That's that would huge be memory card.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I started buying those 256 just for that thing.
Yeah. I did 64 and 64 wasn't enough.
And you're like, oh no. Yeah. Got to clean all the files every single time. And if you forget, then you got to go fix it. And
oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. My biggest problem now is just storage in general because I keep a back catalog of everything in case it gets flagged on YouTube.
You get like a 2
off.
terabyte hard drive.
I'm probably sitting at over 10 terabytes of data.
You need like what am I trying to think of?
Cloud storage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I'm kind of at now.
Well, yeah, I have quite a few terabytes.
Like and it just sits there.
Too,
like, why am I just storing?
Well, and I want to have backups because I'm like, what if like something falls?
What if YouTube crashes?
Yeah, or like something. Even what if one hard drive like breaks, and crashes, and so you have to have a backup on all of them. So,
do you guys keep backups of the podcast?
I don't know.
Eli, our producer
for sure has backups of everything he's probably ever recorded.
Oh no, I think he put them on.
He puts them on a separate hard drive. I'm pretty sure.
I got the first like 40. I downloaded them once over there.
Yeah, I delete them out of my computer the second they're on Spotify.
It takes up too much space.
I'm like, bye.
Yeah.
I bet Eli has a ton of just hard drives lying around for music and for a ton of different stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like these podcasts take up a lot of space. I mean, especially like the hour long. We both like our podcast, and then you and the boys like the hour long thing.
Yeah, and now I'm starting to film the other. I'm starting to film Barnable, and that's like I'm using a SSD card for my cell phone now.
Oh,
the i15 Pro. Yeah, so it's like I'm shooting in ProRes. It's like $80 for like 4 episodes or something.
Wait, what?
Do you have to pay for ProRes?
Yeah, it's so wild.
I'm sorry, I'm so confused. So you're recording on your phone.
I'm recording on my phone, and then there's...
Do you have an external memory?
hard drive hanging down.
Oh, I did not know that was a thing.
You can, on the new iPhones, you can record ProRes if you have one of those SD cards.
Why do you have to pay for it?
The ProRes, or...
Oh, you have to pay for the SD card.
Pay for the SD card.
Got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I thought you had to pay for each recording.
No, I was just saying $8 for the 4. That's just like how... Like if you shoot in ProRes, you only get like 220 minutes per SD card or whatever, shooting in ProRes. So like you said, storage is just expensive.
Name of the game.
Adds up quick.
There's a lot of variables that go into podcasting.
Do you have sponsors?
No, sponsors and advertisers. That's my next realm.
How many episodes do you have?
This is 173.
Cool.
Sick.
73, I think.
That's a lot.
172 maybe. I think 173.
And you go like 2 hours deep sometimes?
Man, I've gone 2 hours. I think the record is 5.5.
Nice.
Which is probably just overly excessive. I feel bad for anyone that's
someone's like takes like a whole week to watch it, but yeah. Sponsors and advertising. I mean, we had 1, 2. We've had 2.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting another one, right? Yeah, they confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice because then we could just offset any costs.
Yeah.
I think we're getting there. I mean, for my work, Matt's been coming because I work for the Chamber of Commerce, so we do like mixers. So Matt, if he comes, he like gets on the mic and we'll like talk about the podcast. And so people that have like business, like established businesses and money and like advertising budgets are noticing, which is what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And the more people that we interview and have on, and then they tell their friends. I think it's working, but it's hard. You got to reach out to so many. You got to have like a nice proposal and like give them statistics, but not too many statistics. Statistics. And yeah, it's kind of like strategy to
it's a lot.
Convince people to give you money for you to talk about them.
Yeah, surprisingly, people don't want to just hand out money.
Yeah. I used to want to do a thing where every episode I would go back and listen and write down any business or influencer, anyone I shouted out and be like, hey, I have shouted you out on so many episodes because that's your part of my life, but I haven't done it. But that's like how we've gotten guests. Like because I started shouting out like Alchemy Distillery so many times. I was like, clearly we just need to have them on.
That's sick.
But it's also like there's sometimes where I just try to keep my mouth shut because I'm like tired of giving people free promotion. Yeah. But it's okay. It's not like it's really costing us that much.
Dude, you're so on it.
Thanks.
You have to be though. I mean, if you want to be sustainable, you got to start bringing in something, right? Are you guys just cold reaching out to businesses to get them on?
Yeah, just DMing.
But we know
Instagram,
both know enough.
And we know enough people to where we can like first reach out to like what would that be called? Like a warm call, like somebody we already know, and then be like, "Yo, you want to sponsor? We're doing like $20 an episode." So that's what we're trying to run right now. But yeah, I think we'll get some people. Honestly, we've only reached out to like so many of the potentials.
Yeah, you got to reach out to a lot.
Yeah, we got to reach out to 100.
I reached out to like 15. I sent out like 15 emails.
I need to reach out to more. Actually, she's done a lot.
She's handling the back end. Like, okay, let me reach out to some people.
Yeah, I mean, I have more time than Matt. I mean, that's just a fact, and that's okay. So, I mean, he's done a lot of investment in our quality, and so I try and match that with investment in our promotion and reach out and, everything, website and Instagram as much as possible.
Oh yeah, website too. Yeah, she does websites.
Oh yeah, on the side, right?
Mm-hmm. I do everything.
Well, and then working at the Chamber of Commerce, you ran their social media page for a while, right?
Yeah, and I still pretty much do. I don't do like the visual content as much, but like the engagement and like reaching out and like sharing other people's stuff. Like I'm still on the Instagram for my work every day. But yeah, no, that job's definitely also just been like a good plug for both of our things. Thankfully.
And a great way to kind of A/B test what works in terms of posts that you can kind of translate over to the podcast.
Oh yeah, no, and I think like I've ran a lot of Instagrams for different companies and like then my own, and then I mean at one point I was logged into 7 different Instagrams at once. And so kind of had like a lot of testing and then listening to like Matt's advice about showing face and like different things that just help with engagement. But also it's hard because the algorithm is constantly changing. So if you push something that the algorithm doesn't like, that even though last week it liked it, this week it won't. This week you just got to post everything all the time. I feel like because you don't know what's going to win.
Yeah. And it's constantly changing. It is constantly changing.
Yeah. It's like the concept of putting in links that route you outside of Instagram. It hates it. I don't know why, but it hates it.
Because it wants people to stay in.
Yeah.
In the gram.
Don't leave the app.
Yeah. It's a fight. It's a fight. It's a death.
Like reward. I look at it as like you get rewarded or disciplined for what you post. And if you're sharing something that, you know, the algorithm likes, then you'll get rewarded. If you're sharing things that it doesn't like, then you'll get disciplined.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
It does suck. Big time.
Because then they're kind of just cultivating what's out there.
They are.
Definitely. Yeah. And then I think it is a bias system too, because it's only uplifting things that it wants to, you know, uplift. And there's, you know, some sort of magic wand that's being like, you know, what do we want to have high on the algorithm today? Mm-hmm. And I know somebody who works for Instagram. They live in New York and they are like he is a trend finder, and he's every day searching what trends are popping. Oh my gosh, people are climbing crates. And there's something called a crate challenge. There was somebody like him that was finding that out on the first hour that it was popping. Like, wait, why are there 1,000? Oh my God, there's 4,000 people tagging this crate challenge, you know? So like finding trends, sometimes trends only pop for a day, sometimes a week. And there's micro trends, there's long trends, there's different types. So like being able to notice those and follow them and use them to your advantage, it just takes using social media a lot. And that's what both of us do.
Yeah, the crate challenge was one of those that you probably didn't want to tap into.
No, and I just use that example. I think everybody, even
so
people
funny.
listening, will probably know.
I can like see it. I can see the chaos.
I'm picturing that girl who was climbing up, and I think she was paralyzed because she fell.
Her leg went through or something. Yeah.
That was a rough video.
That's a graphic example. But like, let's talk about a different trend that's less graphic. Something like doing like green screens, like posting up like a news article or something.
I think that's big on TikTok
and
right now.
Very big on TikTok. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's other ones like a 2-part carousel where you post a meme. It's like fastest growing, you know, social media trend in 2024, and then you slide right to the second, and then it's a video of you explaining that thing. So it's like you gotta get a meme to read, and then you swipe, and then a video, and that like is called 2-part carousel. That started popping only a couple months ago. So noticing those trends on social media, it's not just like these weird videos. It's like things like that.
There's a lot of thought you have to put into it. It's not just creating an engaging video anymore. There's a lot of back end work.
Strategy to getting
having
the engagement that you want.
That people want to read and will stick around to read.
And also the time to post and what to post and the colors to use and the font to use and what size and literally everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I could nerd out on that stuff. I love that stuff so much.
Well, it's
also exhausting.
It's tough.
It is, yeah.
But it's an advantage if you can figure out how to work it.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, people really make bank off of just existing and like
what's that TikTok
promoting
thing
other random stuff?
Pretend to be NPCs.
Yeah.
It freaks me out so bad. The first time I saw it, like the very first time I ever saw it, I immediately deleted TikTok off my phone. I was like, nope, I'm out of here. This is weird.
This is where I check out.
This is where we're done.
So I feel like the other day I think about social media all the time, and I think I've really like even understand social media more every day, and I think I understand it a lot right now, and I'll explain what I discovered. So basically, like 20 years ago, I used to play like Nintendo like what is it? A Game Boy, and like other than that, I would watch TV. Like people would watch screens for entertainment, and then fast forward 10 years, we got like entertainment on our hands. We could like watch, YouTube through the internet through our phones, and I think then we had the social media where we could interact with other people, but we were so used to using devices and screens for entertainment that I think social and entertainment is so intertwined now that I think a lot of times we're going to our phone not for socializing, it's for just entertainment. And then so that aspect is making people kind of like do different things, act differently. Facebook, yes, it started as a social thing to talk to your friends and families, and really start off with students and colleges. Only college students could use Facebook at first to interact with one another about, I don't know, college. So I think if you understand social media, then I think the next level is understanding that social media is really just a place for entertainment. So if you're trying to use social media and educate people or like just inform them, then it's not going to work unless it's entertaining. So now we are forced to, anything we post, no matter what it is about, you have to make it entertaining or it's not going to stick out. And I think that is like still not understood by creaters, that you can't just post something and be informative. Lame. It's dry. It's not going to work.
I'm not going to click your link.
Even ESPN, ABC News, all these mainstream things are doing dances in the studios. They're having young people run these accounts and doing weird trends, and they're like eating food funny and skipping through the studios. Like every big company understands it's entertainment now. It's not just a place to interact.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my big discovery.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks because I like even the other day I yelled at one of my friends. I was like, "Why are you having a conversation with me on Instagram? You have my phone number. I do not. Like I'm not trying to, at this point, I'm not trying to have like social interactions besides sending stupid videos. Like we are now in a deep conversation, but like we were texting yesterday. Like like it's just like I want to try and separate it because it is now an entertainment promotional thing, and bringing back the boundary of like phone calls and texts and like, FaceTimes, and not just existing through that, which is like tracking everything and knows what we want. And like if I feel like I have a message my friends about something and then I'll never stop freaking seeing it on Instagram. But
that happens.
Yeah, it's a thing and it's fine, whatever. But I think just like knowing that I'm like, yeah, I'm here to like, obviously like I'm gonna have a conversation with people, but like just holding on to the former of communication, and allowing Instagram to still be mostly entertainment and promotion. Yeah.
It's almost a dying breed going down that path because everybody, it's just.
I had this idea for 2024 to like, to send postcards to someone once a month in my life and just like do things that like change, like work our brain now in a different way. It used to be the way. And now going back to like writing something out and taking the act of waiting for them to acknowledge it. And just now that is a rewire, which is so strange to me. But like, that's something I really wanted to like work on because then it's going to be just all lost. So.
Yeah. When was the last time you wrote a letter?
ChatGPT wrote a letter for me.
Outsourced it.
Yeah. Nah, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, last year I sent out some Christmas cards last year on behalf of like work.
I write cards, but is that a letter?
Yeah, that is something that. So like we've both spoken. Sorry.
Spoke.
Yeah. Both spoke at business classes, whether it's together or separately or for not even just business, anything. And we've gotten like written thank you letters from those classes, which is, I think, such a good thing that teachers are still doing and implementing is like, oh, someone came in here and taught you something and dedicated their time and it's not your teacher and they're not getting paid. And everyone in the class signed it and they sent it in the mail. And it's so like, I have mine sitting on my desk. I'm like, this is so meaningful and so much better than like a shout out on Instagram, to be honest. Like, it's kind of cool. That we both have like, we've texted each other like, oh my gosh, did you get a letter? That's like, sick. It feels so different.
It's an investment of your time. It's not just sending a DM hey, thanks for showing up.
It means so much more. Matt is the one who used to always talk about thank you cards. He's a thank you person.
Yeah. So my major at HSU was recreation administration. And so in leadership, facilitating, and, planning, event holding, that type of thing. And so like writing a thank you card was like ingrained in like the curriculum. Like make sure to write a thank you to all the sponsors, the vendors, the people that helped out, anybody involved in this event. You got to write thank you cards. That was just like always part of the procedure. So I like try to adopt that and like write thank you cards whenever like that type of situation is going on.
Yeah.
And we had the person who taught me that lesson in college, like on our podcast, Clark Swan. She's was one of our guests like many episodes ago. But yeah, writing thank you cards. It's a good strategy.
Goes a long way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just building that investment in people and showing that you care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Showing that you care outside of like what's expected now, Yeah. It's good.
I don't even know if anything's expected anymore. People are so all over the place. It's just.
That too.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like thinking about social media so much now. Thank you, Matt.
I love social media.
Was that just something that you were interested in with social media, or is that stemmed from having businesses and needing to outreach through that?
Yeah, I think it's from having businesses and like knowing that it's like it's like I'm forced to use it.
It's a tool.
I have to fall in love with it type of thing. So I've just like chose like, okay, I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna say I love it. I think I actually do love it, but I'm also like, I know I force myself to love it. But I think it's fun. I can see I can do something. I can see results, and I get to like work on myself and my confidence, and I don't know, build your self esteem. Like any negative comments, like I don't know, it's a lot of like you could look at it as like helping your like self grow in ways.
Yeah, I think about it a lot that if I didn't have a business Instagram or the podcast Instagram, or if I had to be on it for work, I think I would take very long social media breaks. I think I would shut it down, for a week on end or weeks on end. But then at the same time, like I have managed to, and I hate the word, but it's true, like influence people to do better and to like be better, or like just, I don't know. Whenever I'm like, I'll be like in a rut where I'm like, oh, fuck social media. I don't want to do this. I'm here. And why am I posting this? Someone will message me and be like, oh, the only reason I ate this or I went to the gym or I thought this way is because you posted about it and you were honest about it. And I was like, all right, I'll stay.
That's influence.
It is influence. And thankfully, I feel like I'm doing it in all the right ways. And like people tell me like, don't stop posting about this. And I'm like, cool. Like, I guess I have to be here. And it's like, I'm definitely forcing myself to love it. Like Matt loves it. You love it, Matt. You are very minimally forcing yourself, but I could drop off the face of the earth if I capably could. Like if it wasn't making me money in some sort of way, or, down the line was good for me, my business. But yeah.
Yeah. I started using it a lot when I was in college, and I'd do like this thing, like #hire me, because I would just like need work, and I didn't want to I worked for Changing Tides, like doing one-on-one care with like children and adults with special needs, but it was like very minimal hours. So, and I could create those hours. So I would just like post like, hey, I do handiwork, #hire me for whatever. And that like really did get me by the whole way through college. And then after college, I was like, oh, I need to start businesses. And then I started a business to like recycle plastic and make new products. And that didn't work. And then I tried a business like selling products online. That didn't work. And then started the lawn care company. But all along the way, I like just kept posting. I'm like, that's the only way people are going to know like what these businesses are about. So I was like so adamantly like, I don't want a 9-to-5. The only option I knew was to like post every day about something, get people's attention, try to sell something. And that was just like, I don't know. It's almost like a survival instinct too. It's like, if I don't do this, I'm not going to be able to like eat. Like I can eat more, or I can buy more groceries if I post more. Like that's a link that I have in my head.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it gets me money.
When you get that constant feedback loop of you post something, it blows up or it gets a great response, and then you're incentivized to go back and do it again because I got to hit that button.
Oh, yeah. And I do feel the addiction part too. And I do scroll more than I should, but also I do post a lot.
There'll be weekends where I like don't have anything to do and I'm literally just like on the couch all weekend.
So bad.
My elbows hurt. Like I will get the elbow from
scrolling,
being on my phone, like holding my arm in a specific position. And
just doom scrolling.
And I'm like, what the heck? Off everything. I'm like, ooh, okay, now I'm on this app. I'm like, do anything else. Like,
I'm jumping around apps and oh man.
I have to I have to really stop myself. I had a week off during Christmas and I did all of my puzzles in my house. Like I need to do anything else. I have a week off. I'm going to live in my phone unless I force myself to engage my brain in another way. Because it's bad. So bad. Because I downloaded TikTok again.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice. I love TikTok.
I can't do it.
I hate it.
I don't like any
so
of them.
good.
Really?
I don't post anything except for podcast stuff.
You don't post on your social?
I've never posted, no.
Never posted?
I mean, I've posted a couple times on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like back in high school, but it's probably been 4 or 5 years since I posted on my personal accounts.
What
That's
high school
okay.
did you go
You have
to?
this.
Yeah, I have this, which keeps me sucked in because
you're there.
Gotta post on TikTok, gotta post on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you see those results and then you keep going back.
Oh, nice. You post on TikTok. Sick.
Yeah. I had a guy in here, shout out to Andy, he was running tech for me for a while, and he was like, dude, you gotta get on. This was maybe a year ago. He's like, you need to post this stuff on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
People are on TikTok.
I know.
You gotta know where they are.
Yeah, well, so TikTok, yesterday, I was trying to show my friends like this video. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like 3 like shorter men from maybe like Colombia or something singing and dancing. And it's like awesome. And they're great at singing. But I was like trying to show them, and I like went to Instagram. I'm like 3 like short men singing, and Instagram had no idea what I was talking about. I'm like scrolling. I'm like, I wasn't searchable. You go to TikTok and you type in 3 short men singing, a million pop right up, because like TikTok's like algorithm, it's like searchable. You can actually search things. Instagram is like not really searchable like that. So TikTok is like, I think, gonna go further in terms of like a general purpose like app, or like it's just easier.
Well, I think that's why so many people are on it. I mean, Facebook's kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit. Instagram's probably closer to that than TikTok. But YouTube Shorts are searchable, and YouTube Shorts you can get some traction on.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts are awesome.
But TikTok, I don't know if anything compares to the reach that you can get on TikTok.
No, nothing compares.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really thinking about Tex, his reach. Like I tried to do the TikToks, and I see people doing it, and it's like there are people that are from nowhere land, like here, and like are just existing and being funny, and now have millions and millions and millions of people.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's just like somehow like it just latches onto people and sends them flying.
Well, I think it's just I think consistency is like a big piece, and
quality.
If quality, I don't put quality that high though.
No, I mean, I don't.
Yes, but I don't put it as high as consistency and just trial and error. Yeah, because
I mean, like visual quality, not like what you're doing, but like what your camera looks like.
Yeah,
the algorithm is not gonna push.
But there's
like,
some grainy videos
blurry.
That blow up, and it's like the quality.
iPhone is not, as long as you're not rocking a Samsung.
Yeah, busting out your flip phone, taking a video.
Man, I love when my dad sends me pictures and he's like, look at this really good picture I got. I'm like,
it's all like,
you're also blind.
Pixelated.
So I want you to look at my phone because you have a Samsung. There's no way it's not that good.
Yeah, and just the consistency is like a big part.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I saw this video of someone being like, yeah, the only difference between somebody who has like succeeded and not is the person that succeeded just never quit. And that's like the same thing with TikTok. If you want to like people that have made it in TikTok, the only difference is they just never stopped. But some people will get it in like a month, 6 months, 2 years. But I don't know. It does like add up over time.
That's the key, is just continuing down the path.
Yeah.
Because and that's what gets people, is they'll post something, maybe stick with it for a couple weeks, nothing happens, and then they stop.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what if that next post was the one that got you there?
I think there's like a 5-year. I feel like 5 years.
10,000 hours.
Yeah, and is that like a 5-year thing?
No, I don't know, but that's the one people always say. Is you got to put in the 10,000 hours.
And I think 5 years, like 5 years of doing one thing and you can get pretty good at it.
That's what I said when I started this podcast. I was opening all of my equipment, setting it up on my parents' pool table, and my dad walked in and he was trying to figure out what I was doing because I didn't tell him. And he was like, so how are you going to make money off of this? And without missing a beat, I don't know where it came from. I said, I don't think I'll make any money for 5 years. And he was like, this kid's fucking insane. What are you doing? You're what?
Yeah, 5
It's
years.
A terrible business idea.
But that's also what we're taught, is that businesses don't make money for the first 3 to 5 years. I mean, it's rare, like the rare ones do, but a lot like aren't actually getting a full like profit for 3 to 5 years, and that's okay.
And it's hard for people to stomach that in an age where you can blow up on TikTok overnight and start making ridiculous amounts of money.
I really gave up on my personal brand consistency. I was like, I do not care. I was posting on TikTok and I was posting reels on like just fitness stuff, really, like me going to the gym. And then I was like, I don't care at all. Like this can go nowhere. Screw consistency. I'm doing it for myself. I might post sometimes, but it's like, it's hard. And I think that is why I say, I will pay someone when the time comes to do Hounds of Humboldt's everything. Like someone that is making reels, even if they're doing a bunch of reels in one day and I don't see them for a month and it's just ready to go. Like it is so much work, especially like being creative and just
If I could have it, like my perfect way is I would have somebody like with me 24/7.
Oh yeah, you
filming
just
me.
film.
Yeah. Oh, ideally like stream. Like I look at these streamers, like I Show Speed and like all these streamers that are popular right now. I just love that. I'm like, oh, that seems so cool. Just like be always live and have a chat going down and like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like kind of futuristic, but something about just like content always going. That's what I want. I just want people to see what I'm doing.
This makes me think about the idea I had for Hounds of Humboldt is like when I open, I want to have like dog level GoPros like built into like where the front desk area is. So like they're constantly going and it's like just a feed of like the dog, like especially like turning it on during like packed hours,
Yeah.
Turning it on and you like see, like you don't see the people. So there's no like weirdness of like seeing their faces and it's just the dogs walking in and it's like all at like, this level or like another foot below and just having
what if
that.
people at the bar could like see the dog? Like you could...
I mean, people are gonna put their face in it, but
I like that.
Oh yeah, like streaming it onto the TV. Like having some sort of but also like I think about the places that do like daycare, which I won't be doing that, but like they live stream their daycare for people to like pop in and see their dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, people live stream the animals at the zoo.
Yeah.
And people check in.
Yeah. So like I don't think I would
and
do
at their house.
But like internal streaming. So it's like if you're sitting at the bar, you just like there's one screen that's just like this area of dogs. I don't know. Yeah, I think my brain is very not human centric when it comes to my business a lot of the times. Like so it's hard thinking about content in the way of like normal people, like thinking about content in the way of what dog lovers want to see.
But that's a market in and of itself.
Oh,
I mean, you have a ton of influencers on Instagram.
You should see who I follow on my Hounds of Humboldt page. Like it is entirely different than my personal page. There are so many dog pages and the content they come up with and like, or they're taking trends from humans doing things and making it into dogs. Somehow the dogs are doing the same trends or they're using the same sounds or like it's like get ready with me for a hike with my parents instead of like get ready with me to go to work. Like it's so remarkable. POV. And that's what I'm excited to like be able to do more of. Like when I do have Matt honestly is my content person for my block parties, like just like videos of the dogs and like just the scenery and like the costumes. And it's just like, love the people. I'm so glad you're here. But like your dogs are why we're here. And like, that's what I'm stoked to focus on. And like, it's going to be so funny. I want to have cameras. Like,
I like that.
Like a little, like one of the dogs that can have like the GoPros on the back of their head. So when they're running around, I have so many ideas.
There's a ton of different avenues you could take with that.
Oh my gosh. And that's what's like, I think people that also find what they're excited about with content, that's what helps you with your consistency and like what you're good at. And that's why I was really good at doing fitness content for a while because I was excited about it and I was excited about seeing other people's stuff. But if you're not like stoked to do some of the content, it's gonna be harder to be consistent. So it's like it doesn't have to be what you expect like people to see. It can be like what you love about your business, what you love about your day, and either way, you're gonna get traction from something, and people are gonna see eventually what you want them to see. So, yeah.
I think if somebody like wants to do content but they don't know what to do, they have like two options, and that's either like talking about something you really enjoy and that you're passionate about, like something that you like could just talk about all day about, or something you're really good at. But not everybody likes what they're good at, you know? So that I'm like, no, okay, don't do that. Okay, talk about something you really enjoy. And that could be Harry Potter, that could be, you know, crocheting. But whatever you really like, you could probably talk, you know, endless amount of Instagram reels on that thing. Especially cooking. If you like cooking and you want to create content, that could be your personal
thought about starting
brand.
to do that too.
Like everybody eats. And that was one thing I noticed is like posting food or kitchen content, the right hashtags, the right food. I think that's the easiest, what I found, easiest way to get comments, likes, everything is just food content. Because everybody eats multiple times a day, mostly if you're lucky. So that is like, you know, and then you can like learn so much about the algorithm by like just posting food content.
That's how I feel about dogs. It's like even if you don't own a dog or like love dogs, like you are not gonna like thumbs down a dog video, you know?
Yeah, if you have a heart, no.
You're just gonna enjoy it some way, just like you would food.
You're gonna get sucked in. Are you filming just content in general around yourself, or that's something you would kind of want to do? With
your lawn care.
No, I film all the time. Yeah. For my personal self and then also for my lawn care business. But yeah, I'm constantly filming everyday stuff.
Are you uploading a lot of it, or it's just kind of catalog and then you're picking out what you want from that?
No, I upload. Yeah. I try to do like 3 reels a week.
Yeah.
It's like every 3 days.
It's pretty good compared to what most people do.
Yeah, for my business, at least 3 reels. On my personal, I want to post more, but I don't. I post a lot of stories on my personal, so I'm hitting the people that know me. The people that follow me are consistently seeing me posting, but people that don't follow me don't see me because I'm not posting a lot of posts, which I need to be more. But
yeah, the reels are for the reach.
Yeah,
stories are kind of for people already in your realm.
Already in the realm, they're already there. You're letting them know what's going on with you. But yeah, I post reels for my business a lot. And I can see the correlation when I don't. Sometimes I'll go a whole week and be like, oh, I didn't post a reel. I realize, oh, I didn't get a single call. Like nobody new called me. But if I post every other day a reel, I'm getting at least a few calls like, hey, is this Matthew from Matthew's Lawn Care? I'm like, yes, it is. What do you need? So I can directly see the correlation. And when I do them every day, then I get more calls in 1 week. So once you start seeing that pattern, it's almost more fire under you. Just like post more.
Keep posting.
Yeah.
It's just so much work. But that's the thing.
It's so much work.
It's worth the investment. It's just you have to dedicate the time.
Yeah. And it got easier when I started seeing like, oh, I've do a $30 boost. I spend 30 minutes on a post. That's 30 minutes. I spend 30, but then I got a client that's going to pay me $1,000 for a job. I pay my employees $400 taxes. I'm like $500 is going in my pocket for $30 boost and 30 minutes of work. So like when you break it down, like $500 is pretty worth it.
That pencils out.
Yeah. So and once I started really seeing that, it gets easier. But the first couple of years of posting every day, you're not going to get money from anything.
Yeah, it's truly if you do it right, it's a trackable return on investment. Especially like when I was doing social media for my last job, I mean, I was on it and I knew it was working. I mean, and they to this day know that because I'm not doing it anymore, there's things that are missing.
Yeah.
There's authenticity and in real time things that are working, and you can't just like share other people's stuff, and you can't just post old pictures. Like, businesses should be running their social media the way that they might run their personal social media, in my opinion. Like, I think, and that's why, like, when I post something on Hounds of Humble, I also tag my personal page or vice versa, because I'm like, I am one and the same. Me, my business, like, here's my dogs in my house. You can see, my pictures on the wall, whatever, but this is my life and this is my business. And I think, like, when I run other businesses' Instagrams, like, I'm not just posting the cookie cutter or the info stuff or the promotional stuff. It's like, here's what's going on behind the scenes, and here's, this creepy hallway. Like it was for like Humboldt Social, so the Scotia Lodge and Humboldt Bay Social Club, and I was like, here is like the wood got delivered, and it's a mess, and I don't want to do this, but like here we are putting away the wood. And I think businesses should be running like it should be way more authentic, just like your personal should be authentic, and that's hard for people to do because sometimes like there's so many businesses that they don't want to put their face to it. And that's Matt's big thing is like, that's why his business's name is his name, and like putting your face out there. And I think I've always tried to tell businesses that it's like, if I haven't seen like a story post or like a grid post of like a staff member and something or like it's just not the same, it's not authentic, and it doesn't make you want to go there or spend money there if it's just cookie cutter. Yeah.
Yeah, like human put behind the business. Everyone, especially in a small town here, you got to know your audience. They want people like a human behind like the business. At least see. So when she says like, oh, I don't know your staff, like you're not posting any humans in your posts, or like we don't know who the people that represent your business are, then, that's a downfall.
People want to connect with who's on the other side of that screen.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah, people connect with like something that they can like, remember or think about, or I don't know, they see a person, oh wow, I know them, I've seen them. Yeah, relatable. Yeah, I've seen them around, or like, oh, that's cool. Like if I see them at that place, I'll give them a shout out. Like we see a human, their face, it's just better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that. Posting not necessarily relatable stuff, but almost peeling the veil back a little bit. And almost treating your, like you said, like your business account, like a personal account. I would not be on social media if not for this thing.
Yeah, it's hard for people.
Just unplug.
And it's hard, maybe for a reason. Like it's, not everybody can succeed in it. It's like a challenging thing to like post and like get seen and have like attention, because it's like the entertainment thing. So like creating content that's entertaining is like really difficult.
Yeah.
There was a time like 8 years ago that just posting content would get you very seen. And like the same application day, like 3 reels a day, like that's what the creators are, like 3 a day on every platform. That's like the baseline. So if you're posting 3 a day 8 years ago, that would be incredible. In any industry, you would ball out. But nowadays, 3 a day, that's like baseline. So good luck in this pool, so.
There's just so much out there.
There's incredible. Yeah. It's all saturated.
Mm-hmm.
So we're swimming with like just so many fish now. And that's why we have to like, that's why you see people invest in all the equipment and do like get the lights, and we have to like keep doing more and get better. Otherwise we'll like fall behind.
I wonder.
I was going to say, and like taking advantage of all of the free things that are offered within these apps, like something I've been really trying to do is like, if I'm taking a video either of me or I'm speaking and taking video of something, I'm going to use the built-in closed captions thing, because I know about how I'm on social media, and sometimes my volume's all the way down.
Oh, yeah.
If you send me something and I can't read the caption over the reel, I don't know what you just sent me. And I know that it's supposed to be sort of like a disability factor with having the closed captions on stories. But it's like, yeah, I know people are watching my story, but now they don't have to turn their volume up. They know what I'm saying. And like, that's free. That's there. And I think everyone should be using it if they're talking over a video. Mm-hmm. And just like how we do with our reels, like putting those captions there and making it so it's fully accessible, whether you actually need the accessibility or just choosing to, not do something. But that's huge. Like use the free resources that are built in and like play with them and see how they work.
Yeah, the on-screen text is huge.
Essential.
And you can edit it, by the way. Some people like they just post.
I know.
I'm like, you go fix your words. Like, watch your stuff. Like,
I know, right?
Now I really don't know what you're saying.
That's what gets me about those lip sync videos. Is when there's like a 2-second delay in the person singing versus what's being said. It's like, you couldn't have re-recorded this.
No,
put
it's
it
painful.
Out.
It hurts us all.
It does.
Yeah, no, but closed captions, and if you're a creator, you'll notice that your videos with that gets more views. Then your retention, they'll watch more of it, because a lot of people don't listen with volume. They're like at work or like in a situation where they're just like scrolling or doom scrolling and they want to just like irritate people around them or whatever.
Or like, I mean, I think I'm going to speak for a lot of people, like just watching something on Netflix, like we have our captions on, even if it's the English, like I need the captions to watch things. So like if I put on a YouTube video and I can't like, if the captions aren't popping up or they're really funky, I'm like, I don't want to watch this. Like I need that dual understanding. So, and I know like we all know, or we do it where we need them.
I wonder if that's a generational thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's because our brains are rarely ever are our brains fully into that one media. How often are we watching a movie and we're on our phone at the same time? Or there's other people in the room. I started doing it because I was living with thousands of people and I wanted to watch TV. But if everyone's yelling, I need the captions. But now it's turned into I need them because I need the sound and the visuals because who knows what else I'm doing at the same time, you know?
Something tells me it's like the newer generation, we all have like ADD in a way, so we have to be like occupied. And I think sitting and just watching something isn't enough. We have to be sitting and doing something, and that's like reading. I could be speaking for me, but I need to be doing something at all times. Even when I'm watching something, I'm like editing something and I'm on my phone. I'm like constantly doing 3 things, like always.
It's self-induced ADHD.
Yeah.
Because we're all just trying to multitask.
Right. Yeah. And so many times I'll be out like working. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to get home and like rest, relax, like sit down. I get home. No, I'm like editing. I'm on the computer. I'm like, it's midnight, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even relax. Okay, I have 10 minutes. I'll relax. I'll sit there. I'll try to watch something. I'm just on my phone editing.
It's
like,
a practice.
I can't.
I've been really trying to fight my internalized ADHD allegations, and just stop. And even if it's just doing one thing, like just do one thing. Turn off the TV. Why is the TV on? It's the same thing you've watched 1,000 times.
I just get the purple Roku like treadmill at this point, and that's just on for hours.
Yeah, but it's just like trying to do just one thing, and which is also why my phone is on Do Not Disturb 24/7. It helps me to do one thing because it's exhausting multitasking everything, and we all do it so much. Yeah, and it's generational, and it's like I'm trying so hard to practice all of the things we used to do, which is like slow down, do one, do less, write things, read things, like change, like, yeah. And it's hard. I think it's hard, especially as women too. We just do everything all the time anyways. We cannot stop. And so now like, rearranging my brain to do less.
No, I feel that. I can't help but think like, 40 years ago when people got home, if they're lucky, they had a TV and it wasn't even color at that point. But you didn't have a way to make money when you came home from a job. When the lights weren't down, there was no street light, or if there's street lights, like you had to be inside. But now I go home and I have the option to either sit down and watch something or get on my phone, edit something that's going to give me money. And that just like drives me every night. I'm like, how can I just sit here and watch something without, there's something in my hand that can like, it's endless money, like endless prosperity and like future retirement is like in my hand. Am I going to like sit here and like kill 2 hours, or am I going to like try? And that might sound like so radical and so intense to a lot of people, but that's just how my brain works.
No, so that's the new like trend, the way things are going. Yeah. Like that's how people are. Like the grind culture is real. But there's people like me actively fighting to fight the grind culture because I've been swamped in it for so long. But yeah, it's real. That's what everyone does. Unless you can fight it, that's what you're doing. Like,
that's how. Yeah, and some of my friends are like, "Why are you on social media all the time?" And like those are the people that have like 9 to 5s, and some even like have bought houses. They come home from work and they, sit down with their partner and like pet their dog and like have a relaxing evening. Like I know those people, and I hope you're listening. And I'm not you. Like I'm out here like struggling to like hold a relationship with somebody because I'm always like working. And that's just the life I chose. But it's, I think somebody who is an entrepreneur is going to resonate with that, and somebody who's like an employee kind of like mindset where they want to get a good job and have a retirement and like, just work 9 to 5 and salary, and that's going to be something that somebody can be super stoked with. But I think the 2 different avenues are like 2 different types of like person. And
Matt's not saying that I'm not an entrepreneur.
I'm not saying you're an entrepreneur. You're a full-blown entrepreneur. Yeah, and you can be an entrepreneur with me also being an employee. Like I am too. I work for College of the Redwoods. But there's just like I don't know.
You don't have to be like Matt to feel like you're an entrepreneur. That's what I'm trying to say is like it's okay to go home and do nothing for a couple hours. It's okay to go home and do the bare minimum and pet your dog and sit and stare at nothing or sit and read something, like it's hard to when you are I think that's where it comes from is when you do have an entrepreneurial mindset, it's hard to do that. It is hard to go home and shut down. It's hard to put your phone down and not work. If it's very easy for you to go home and just like that's okay. You're probably less of the entrepreneurial mindset or like someone that wants to learn all the time. It doesn't have to just be someone that wants to own a business, someone that's like actively trying to learn or better themselves. Like you are happy existing in that and that's okay. But there are so many different avenues of basically what you do with your downtime and what you do not do kind of changes your trajectory.
Definitely.
Yeah. And not one is better than the other. It's better for that individual or not,
Yeah, it's just about finding out what aligns with who you are and what you want out of life. I'm definitely more nose to the grindstone.
Yeah.
Like
what you're saying resonates with me. I've talked a lot on this podcast about it, that it's just the hustle. It's almost fetishized. Where you're constantly working because you go home, especially just take the podcast where you guys are doing that. You could go home and hang out and watch Netflix, or you could work on the podcast, editing the podcast, or reaching out to the next guest or cutting clips. The work does never end because you're always stacking more work. I've got, at least 100 podcasts I could go back through and clip better stuff from, but I'm working on the next ones. And so it's hard to go home and say, okay, I'm going to just hang out, watch this TV show, hang out with the dog, go for a walk, things that are probably healthier for you to do and add improvement to your life and quality of life.
Yeah.
But then you just revert back to, well, there's work that needs to be done. I have things I need to do. You have the tangible results of I do this, I get money, which is freedom in a way. And you can get stuck in that cycle of just, I got to work.
And I think
it's work all the time.
It's trend. We're also affected by trends. I mean, there's like the idea of like grind culture and the like hustle of like energy. And then there's like the trends of like, for me, it's like this idea of soft girl era that's getting pushed versus soft like girl. Boss girl thing. And I'm like, I'm tired. Like, it's okay to be tired. It's okay to like not be the boss woman all the time. And like, it's actively influenced by the trends we see where it's like more women are like, cool, yeah, you can be that, like you're killing it for 10 hours a day, but then you can also like go like rest and be a human. And like it's actively influenced still by social media, the trends that people kind of go through. And like, yeah, it's very interesting to pay attention to. And I do think it's way more heavily like pushed towards women. I think men are always going to have like things pushed towards them to work more, do more, do this, do that, be better, improve more. And women are now getting pushed like, you can stop, like you can take a break. And it's very interesting to see that change because it wasn't like that 2 years ago. It was like, be the head of the house, be the financial this, be the boss. And now I think all the women are like, we're going to have heart attacks. Like it's,
interesting.
And it's social media. It's the education side of social media, like the health podcast and all this stuff that like the men that have the health podcast, they're not preaching to men to have soft eras, but the women that have podcasts that are doing health podcasts are preaching to women to have soft eras. And it's so interesting. And I think it's something to consider if you're on an entrepreneurial streak to like put your like health first and like what that means for you and pay attention to those trends too and what's being pushed to you. Yeah. It's super interesting. I feel like I micro and overanalyze social media so much, less of like the strategies that people are using, but like what is being put in my face? Why am I thinking this way? Oh, it's because of this. Like I block influencers all the time because I'm like, I'm so tired of seeing this. Like I don't want to eat like that and I don't want to work out like that and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that with my business. You're blocked because I can't stop seeing it. And like, yeah, it's very all-encompassing of our brains.
Yeah, my feed is all motivational videos of people saying no days off.
Yeah, I block those people.
You can't be successful on 8 hours of sleep. That's my feed. But I don't know if I like that because I'm being reinforced to like that, or I just lean more that way as an individual. Mm-hmm. And so I maybe go a little too extreme because some of it's already there.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And that's why like the algorithm really is like a reinforcement echo chamber for every individual. It like knows what we want, and then it's just like gonna feed us that over and over until we're like so solidified in that. So it could be a good or a bad thing. If it's positive and healthy stuff, then like you'd want to stay in that zone.
But have you ever taken your friend's phone and looked at their Explore feed?
Oh no, but it's probably so different.
It's super different, and that's where it's like, it's really, really crazy because I've asked men, I'm like, have you seen this video that is trending? And they're like, no. And I'm like, that's it's total, like it is only women seeing this, or it is only sports people seeing this, or it is only these people seeing this. Or like when Albie would show me her Explore feed, it was only like cooking recipes. That is her whole life. And it's like, that's where it's really interesting is like, look at what your friends' algorithms look like. And you also will have like me and my best friend, I think ours are exactly the same. You know, we end up sending each other the same videos, but like you'll get an insight into what's being fed into your friends' brains and stuff like that. And I think it's, I did a minor in communications also. And so like like theories around like influence and interpersonal communication are very ingrained in my brain. And the algorithm is now our interpersonal communication like method. And it's very freaky and interesting.
You really are peering into somebody's brain.
Yeah.
We're each living in our own world.
Yeah.
And it's
sort of
tailor-made.
Shared. Yeah, it's tailored and semi-shared, and we influence each other with what we send to each other, because that's when like you and your friends' algorithms align because you've sent each other so much stuff, but it is tailor-made, and which is why being good at your business's promotion is so important, because it's going to be tailored to those people. To the dog people, or to the lawn care people, or to the business podcast people, or anything. Like it ends up tailored exactly to who you want it to be.
And that's why you have to be authentic, because if you're not, you're going to get tailored to people who think you align this way. Mm-hmm. And then when your true colors do come through, it's going to backfire.
Yes.
Yeah. Your audience isn't going to resonate with you anymore.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. It's super important to like just be yourself, which we talk about so much on our pod.
And we are so much. I mean, I've had people say that their favorite episodes with us is just when it's us just existing and have no topics, or we pulled up our topics on ChatGPT because we didn't know what we were going to talk about, and people love it. And it's surprising, but it's cool to know that like us just being ourselves is enough for some people, which is hard to like admit when you're trying to be so much to like gain traction, you know?
Yeah, I've done a lot of speeches. I did a TED Talk in 2016. And I've always like before my speeches, like I just have such short like notes, because I don't know, something about too much prep just like gets to me. I like have to just like do just like really short bullet, and then just like kind of go off the cuff a little bit and just like have like an idea of what I want to say. And then I like can foster a few key points to remember, but I'm not good with like memorizing or kind of like going like trying to do exactly
scripting it all out.
No script. I can't do script.
No.
And like when we first did the podcast intro, like I printed it out and like I tried to read it. I couldn't even read it. I created
like
it
right after.
I created it and I couldn't even read it. I stumbled and stuttered, and like I've told them, and I like have a hard time reading. I can't read out loud. I just like I'll trip over the words, and like even the waiter in restaurants, if I'm like, oh, what am I gonna get? And I look down and like I know what I'm gonna get, but if I have to read it, I'll just like stutter, and like I just can't read. I can't. So yeah, I'll have to go like off the dome in a lot of situations.
I like swinging from the hip like that. Mm-hmm. It's more authentic and it's fun because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes that backfires, but
you're yourself.
And then you get to practice
you
humility.
learn from it. Yeah.
So
that's why I like making Matt do the intros, because they just get better and they get good. And then there's been like weeks on end where it's the same thing every time because he's on it and he's good. Then we change it on him, and you know, it takes a little more time, but it's important. Yeah. It's like the learning, the challenging, and the authenticity of like getting something down and adapting and pivoting and without script. I I don't even think there would be a way to script our podcast. I don't think that's a thing.
No, I mean, I used to, in podcasts, I would have specific questions I would have to ask during the episode. And I remember it just being so stressful and like crossing out and like looking up and down. And I'm like trying not to look up and down and be rude. So I'm like doing it at a glance and like, then I'm like not paying attention because I'm like doing that. And yeah, so I stopped that real quick and just like, okay, I got to have just like think throughout the day. Like, what do I want to ask them? What do I want to know? And then just kind of make it all up.
And that's what's fun about having conversations like this is that you're locked in. Like we were talking about earlier, when you bring somebody into the studio and you're talking to them, you're not on your phone, you're not playing around. You're actually sitting there talking, engaging with the person, interested in what they're saying. They're interested in what you're saying. You don't get that a lot.
Yeah, I used to struggle a lot with getting on the pod, especially when it would just be us two or when we didn't have a guest and I would just, basically I was using the podcast as like a therapy session. And I multiple times had left the podcast being like, wow, I just made an ass of myself. I don't know what I just talked about. What was coming out of my mouth? Why was I saying that? Or like, I mean, it was all true, but it was so like, why did I just dump that onto the podcast? And I think it was like so authentic, but I was locked in. I was like, oh my God, I haven't talked to someone all week. And that's another thing. I spent so much time by myself at the podcast. I had to like take time to like vent about something pre-podcast or like call my mom before to tell her about all this chaos of something to get this pent up energy to be able to be locked in properly. Like it's still going to come out, especially for me. I just kind of like let things go when I'm talking. But yeah, like I had to let myself lock in properly and not just use it as like a bleh.
Event session.
Yeah, which sometimes it just happens, but it was something to pay attention to, like locking in a different way rather than it just being two friends on the mic. Like we're here for a purpose and like, yeah, it was changing my perspective of why I was locked in. And yeah.
I think we're getting better at podcast hosting, and I think we have the ability now to like talk about anything and then swing it back to business. And like even if we're talking about life or venting,
we're getting so good.
We can just like, and this is like business
because our lives are business. Yeah. Also, like, both of our lives are so.
Our brand every day we like walk around like carrying our business on our back.
Well, even me all day at work, my work is small business relations essentially, and it's like that's already what I'm doing all day. And I think,
we're constantly wearing multiple hats, and it's like I don't know, something that we both are getting better at, just like being able to talk about anything in life and then relate it to business in the podcast.
Well, I think that's why the podcast works, is because you guys are both passionate about what you're talking about. You're not just phoning it in. Oh yeah, this is, here's some notes to check off. This is what you want to pay attention for. You guys are actually engaged. Like you are living this life, and it's cool for people to follow along. So, okay, like I want to do the same thing. How are they doing it? What mistakes have they made? How can I not make those mistakes?
And I think it's really relatable to so many different demographics, because like we both had different routes with school. We both are sort of like different, like Matt's a little bit older than me, and we had different teachers and we did different kinds of jobs. Like our lives were very different, but always somehow ended up being business centric. I mean, I started going to school for engineering. I don't know how I got here, but I knew midway through starting engineering, I was like, oh, I can be a business consultant. I can be a consultant for like, renewable resources for businesses. Like I was already thinking about that. And I think like we've just had so many different things that we can relate to others, and what we talk about, so many different kinds of people can relate back to us, whether it's students or old people. Sorry, if we're like, not business owners, people that are just interested in different lives, different stories and different knowledge. And yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to be, we're like the Regis and Kelly. I really want to be, at least.
What? That's the first I've ever heard of.
Really? No, we're Regis and Kelly.
Yes. I didn't know.
I want to someday have a business show that's like huge and humble, that it's like me,
like Dave Ramsey,
talking like we're getting paid like business news, because this is going to be a tech booming spot, and it's like,
oh my god,
what's happening in Humboldt? Let's turn to our business. You don't know about this? Dude, we're going to be the business experts.
Yeah.
People are wanting
right. But I didn't realize what capacity we're really trying to get to. You're like, live podcast, we'll do something at like Cal Poly, but I see what you're getting at
I want to
got a vision.
I think God, somebody does.
I want to be the business experts, like in Humboldt County. It's like, you got to call Matt and Glow. These are the people that have talked to everybody in business here. These are people that have spent hours like discussing.
It's so remarkable because so many people we talk to are more experienced than us in ways, or older than us in the ways, or have been doing their business longer, but still value our knowledge and value our conversation, even if like they didn't really learn anything or want to take anything from it. Like the conversation is valuable, and those long-term relationships that we've built makes us, if we're not always going to be an expert in business, expert in the relationship of being business owners in your community. Like that's huge. Because I mean, I really let the imposter syndrome get a hold of me. I was like, at the time I was like, I am 26. I don't know anything. My business isn't even real yet, but like, it is. And I do. And it's like, whether I know all about social media or if I know all about QuickBooks or all of these things, maybe not. Maybe I can just like engage and network and have that conversation and influence one way or another, or be a sounding board for people. But yeah, I guess we have a vision now.
Yeah, no.
Sounds like sounds like there's a plan.
Yeah,
I'm down.
Right?
I wish you would have told me this months ago. We could have really we could have started 2024 off strong.
Okay, now we're gonna be there. We're the business experts of Humboldt County.
We're gonna have some sponsored shows.
Right? Like I want to be
out in the
full on like
wild.
Channel, a network. That's it.
Okay.
A business
you heard
network.
it here first.
Okay.
Business network by what you didn't learn.
Okay, well, guys, thanks for doing this. It's already 6 o'clock. I gotta get out of here.
Oh my gosh!
Do you guys want to plug where people can find you, where they can find your businesses, your podcast, all your stuff?
Yes, I'll start. Okay, for the podcast that we do together, it's called What We Didn't Learn in Business School. Find us on Spotify, wherever we listen to podcasts. Find me, Matthew Cendejas, at Cendejas, or Matthew Cendejas TV, Matthew Cendejas TV on YouTube, or Cendejas on Instagram. Hit me up. Or my lawn care business, which is Matthew's Lawn Care.
Good
Period in between. Thank you, Glow.
You're welcome. Yeah. Okay. What did he get? Hounds of Humboldt is Hounds of Humboldt on Instagram and houndsofhumboldt.com. Thankfully, those were both there. And then if you are a business owner, you can call me at the Chamber of Commerce and I can help you, with your stuff there. And you can hit up, I feel like there's something else I'm missing. You can hit my personal page and you'll find me, Gloria K. Baker. She's on there. And if you need a website, I can do a website for really, really cheap, but still really good. And are we missing anything?
I think that's all.
I'm going to plug our home studio, which is Juicebox Audio, because he does tons of different podcasts for different people and audio recording for lots of different genres. So
that's right.
Shout out to Eli.
Shout out to Eli.
Juicebox Audio in Arcata. Search it up. Google that so he gets the algorithm boost.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
This is great.
Yeah. This is a rad studio.
We'll be on the lookout for this rising network coming out of Humboldt.
Yes, sir. The business network by What We Didn't Learn. See you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.